Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Thursday, 17th July 2025 and I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Wad Ahmed and we've got a packed show for you today. Firstly, Wizz Air's UAE exit is leaving up to 450 of its staff facing a very uncertain future, and we're going to get into that. Mubadala CEO Khaldoon Mubarak in a summit in Pittsburgh discussed how they've invested into every piece of possible artificial intelligence, and Manchester City has secured a record £1 billion pound kit deal with Puma, and finally Shark Tank has launched in Lebanon.
And the very first story, very big story, everyone knows that Wizz Air is leaving Abu Dhabi by September 1. The funny thing is that everyone is scared that the other airlines will increase their prices, but Abu Dhabi's budget airline scene is shifting fast. Air Arabia Abu Dhabi, which is a joint venture between Etihad Airways and Air Arabia, is ramping up capacity by 40%. So they'll have more flights, more seats available in 2025, this year itself, to meet surging demand for travel in and out of the Emirate. CEO Adil Al Ali confirmed the airline has added 2 new Airbus A320s to its fleet, bringing the total to 12, with plans to hit 14 by the end of year. So 2 more airplanes are coming.
But with Wizz Air's abrupt suspension of operations in Abu Dhabi, it's still unclear if Air Arabia will take over its valuable airport slots. So Etihad CEO Antonaldo Neves told The National it's too early to say, citing the need for more planes, pilots, and analysis.
And Etihad Airways isn't waiting. The national carrier has announced new routes to Caucasus, Central Asia, and Saudi Arabia just 1 day after Wizz Air's exit. Those were already in our 2030 plan. That's what Neves told the national. But where there's a market gap, we'll fill it, and fast. That's what he said.
Yeah, they definitely did that intentionally. Now the move is being seen as a strategic win for Etihad, which is currently preparing for a potential IPO. A stronger presence in regional travel could help bolster its position ahead of any public listings.
And meanwhile, up to 450 Wizz Air staff are left in limbo. Obviously, this happens with any story, any company which is shutting down. CEO Joseph Varadi said some employees may be offered roles in Europe, but visa and passport challenges could make relocation impossible in many cases. The airline has pledged to support staff on a case-by-case basis.
And just bringing us to the subject of the fact that 450 of Wizz's staff are in limbo, me and Majid, we saw this message and it was on Reddit, and we questioned how real it was, because you never know with Reddit. It just might be someone who's hired to just go, chat a bunch of rubbish. But in this case, it does seem real, and I'll tell you what this guy had to say. He basically was like, Wizz Air Abu Dhabi shut down. We had 1.5 months to pack our lives. And he was like, as many of you already know, Wizz Air Abu Dhabi recently announced its closure. And just like that, we were all given 1.5 months to figure everything out. That's it. No gradual wind down, no real transition, just a very abrupt end to what was, for many of us, our careers, our livelihoods, and our homes. And he was like, I'm one of the many cabin crew affected by this decision. And to be honest, I'm lost. Going back home is not an option for me right now. I've built my life here in the UAE, and I'm also the breadwinner for my family back home. He did say more here, and he's a former Wizz Air Abu Dhabi crew member. And I think that this is completely disappointing because of the fact that it seems to be here that not only was this announcement of Wizz Air abrupt to all of us, but also to the staff. And I think that this is something that is just so wrong. Yes, I know that we constantly hear of these cases, but it's completely wrong. It's completely wrong that the directors get to hear, the managing partners get to hear, but the actual employees on ground doing the work. Exactly. It does not make any sense to me. I understand like work hierarchy, but this is why for me, Majid, I love transparency in companies. Like, let us in. Let us know what is going on so we can know when we need to pack our bags and prepare and book our flights,
No, the visa problem was one of the biggest problems in the Middle East, not only in UAE. At some point, now you have like hundreds of visa options, investor visas, golden visas, freelance visas. So there's a lot of options that you can take and stay in this country. That's a good sign. Apart from that, I still believe that the companies need better, and it's kind of a part of crisis management that you see. I think Wizz Air didn't just decide one day that, oh, we're not doing good. They must have been looking at the financials or whatever problems they've been facing. They're saying heat is the problem. They must have been facing all these problems for a long time now. And if the staff didn't know about it, again, they didn't know how to do proper communication, internal communication, should hire an internal communication manager. But I would give credit to the CEO that he did a whole meeting with the internal staff, told them they'll be relocated to Europe. There's, with visas and passports, it's always a problem. Europe doesn't accept everyone. There's travel bans on certain nationalities and all that. So it'll be difficult. But at least he came out later, which is good crisis management then. He said that we'll try to relocate as many as possible. Let's see how many they can accommodate. It's a good thing that at least he said it. Usually companies, they just shut down and they don't even reply.
Yeah.
We have very big examples. One of them is, I won't say competitor, they do different stuff than us. But Monify, we all remember the story. We broke it in February, then Bloomberg, Semaphore, all of them did in, I think, March, April. And they were like, they broke the story, but we broke the story.
He's showing off, guys. He's showing off right now.
We're just showing off, but we broke the story. We actually reported on it. We were the first ones. I think I manifested Trump for a second. I was the first one. But yeah, serious side, you always tell the people who get most affected by it at last, and that shouldn't be the case. 90 plus people, nearly 100 people fired, told to just leave within a month because that's the visa expiry date usually when the visa is cancelled. In Pakistan, I've seen like 2-3 multi-billion-dollar empires leave. We recently saw Kareem exiting Pakistan. Thankfully, in that country, people who are working in Pakistan, they don't have to like leave the country. It's their country, it's their passport. But again, whenever these companies leave, there's a big pool of talent that is left without jobs, and then they try to scramble, try to find places where they can work.
It is very true. And like just back on the topic of Monify, so just to give you guys more context, it was launched last year in November by the Egyptian billionaire Naguib Sawiris from the richest Egyptian family in Egypt, in Africa. And essentially what happened is we interviewed a source that is close to the matter. And what they essentially told me is, you have Naguib Sawiris trying to make people rich, but then sacks 80% of his staff. And something that, what this source basically told us is that the people that were basically sacked were just given their dues. They were just given their dues. They were not given more, like what the CEO of Wizz is saying they're trying to do with their staff. But like, Majid, don't you think that perhaps the reason why the employees aren't actually told isn't because management or the CEOs or whoever is heading the company is actually just like evil and has no empathy, but because of the fact that they themselves were trying to stop this inevitable end right before it happened, till the last day. Honestly, it brings me to this point. I feel like with these companies, like until the last day where they are forced, they are forced to close that door. They don't actually want to. They think that there's some crazy miracle that is going to happen that is just going to change the tides. And I think that's what happens with these companies, by the way. That's why these employees end up suffering. It's not because management, didn't want to tell them. It's because management was trying to stop it before they, before they incited hysteria and they told everyone. But another great,
the software, the Builder.ai?
That's what I was going to mention, Builder AI. Like, for example, Builder AI, before they announced their bankruptcy, there were literally job listings for Dubai. They were hiring people. So it does bring me, honestly, to the conclusion that these people are always just trying to, put the puzzle in place right before everything happens. And I think with Builder AI, it's such a concerning case because it was valued as a unicorn, over $1 billion. It was backed by Microsoft. It was backed by Qatar Investment Authority. To be specific, $250 million. So for them to just announce insolvency, bankruptcy, apparently they weren't even using artificial intelligence. They were using Indian coders. I mean, the story can go on for a really long time. And now they owe money to a lot of people. And it just brings me to my point of I think these things don't they don't really happen because they don't want to tell their staff. It's because they're trying to save their staff and they're just, they're trying to come up with a solution.
See,
And I think that's so bad. I really do.
When you're at such a high level position, first of all, let's read a very nice comment. SK Mizan 45, he says, I like your content. Please make case study and upload about whatever we're talking about. We'll try, bro. We'll try. But again, the idea is, you're right. Some people who actually are good at heart, they try to keep the company afloat, try to keep the people on their jobs, try to somehow, part the seas and make way. But some people actually don't understand what leadership positions, the pressure and all the decision making that leadership position come with. You have to understand if you're looking at something, if you're looking at your financials and for quarter over quarter you're in loss, you should realize that there is a problem with your product, with your structure, with how your cash flow is going, with how you're spending the money, with whatever is happening. So if you can't look at the hints that your business is not working and then one day randomly close
you
it.
need to move on.
So I think it's just leadership decisions that lead to this. Wizz Air, obviously, they're not saying that they were not doing good in Abu Dhabi. They were doing good, but they were not doing as good as the European places. So they have they started in Europe, they're a Hungarian airline. They started in Europe, they're earning a lot of profits there. I think in this cutthroat market where state-backed Emirates is, Etihad is there, Air Arabia is a joint venture between two big companies, the competition was very tough for them. So they decided, and it's a good decision, to be honest, it's a very nice decision because what if they kept delaying the inevitable and stopped paying the people? That would have been more problematic.
That's even a bigger scandal.
Yeah, because you stop paying the people and they keep sticking with you because now you owe them 3 months of salary and they're like, someday maybe we'll get it.
And then you find yourself in court suddenly.
Yeah. So you increase the losses. So it all depends on the leadership. I think Wizz Air leadership, to be honest, I would say they're good. The CEO himself talked to the guys. They decided that they're not doing good, so they should leave. They should not go into negative balance and then be unable to pay anyone.
But
and they said we're focusing on our main markets. That's great.
You know what this kind of brings me to? It kind of brings me to this conclusion of sometimes I feel like some of these business owners, these founders, they're so delusioned. Honestly, they're so delusional. They're like in this realm of, I have a company. I made it. I founded a company. It's here. It's something tangible. I can touch it. And because they're so obsessed with that fact of I'm a business founder, I'm a CEO.
Founder's ego.
Exactly. They will like never give up the idea that, you know what, this is a failing idea. I need to move on. Like I remember when I was
just exit and move on.
Exactly.
Right? You can always exit at a good time.
Who was
also.
it? If you like look at like all the Shark Tank hosts, this is something you'll notice about all of them in all of the shows, whether the USA or Dubai. Now Lebanon is coming soon. We'll discuss that later. Is that all of them will quite literally tell you we've had so many businesses, some that have failed, some that have succeeded, and it's that ability to pick yourself up and move on and build something new, like get a new relationship, something new is what will determine if you're actually a good founder. It's not this idea that I made it, I'm a founder, I feel like this happens more with men, I really do believe that.
A lot of founders, even the S&P 500, the top tech shares, whatever you see, there's a guy there. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. But you have to realize, she made a very nice point that a lot of the Shark Tank judges, they said that we moved on from business to business. Once we saw it's failing, we moved on. Or if we invested in a business, till the time it was making profit, we were there. As soon as it started going bad, we cashed out. It's a good sign because not everyone can have their very first idea become Facebook and then Meta platforms eventually. Not everyone can have their first idea become Google. You can count all these big tech, big five, I call them, but there's now big 10 because Nvidia also came.
You know what this reminds me of? Somebody in a video was like, I saw this thing on TikTok that was like, you need to stop telling people to drop out of university the way that Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of university. And I was reading through it and people were like, Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of university because he realized he was better than the university itself. And he didn't go to any uni. I believe he went to Harvard. Was it Harvard that he went to?
Mark? Yeah,
Yeah,
he was at Harvard.
exactly. And they were like, you guys aren't even going to Harvard. This is somebody that is so smart. They got into Harvard University, realized they're smarter than Harvard University. Not all of you have this ability to drop out. And I've never heard of something realer. Do not fall for these delusions.
Yeah, you look at all
you should
these
not.
guys,
You should never.
they're always someone from top university. So they actually went to university.
Yeah.
They dropped out because they realized they've gotten their big idea. And to be honest, at the time when they came up with their big idea, tech wasn't as big as we know. Internet was big. The internet revolution had already started. But tech wasn't as big. And these guys created the foundation of what we call tech today, all the apps and everything. So yeah, they dropped out to literally disrupt the whole market. If today, if someone says that I have an idea for a new revolutionary AI solution, I would maybe back them, like, because right now AI is the big thing. Right now, tech is not the big thing. You make up an app which is tech-based, to be honest, you won't become a unicorn. But if you come up with a new, so there is always trends, there is always winds that you have to follow.
Yeah.
These guys followed the winds, so that is why they dropped out of the university.
That's why, like, for example, like, this is a really random one, but I'm just thinking about it. Like Khalid Al-Amari, I think that's his name. You know
Maybe
that
the content guy?
Yeah, he's a YouTuber, and he's recently debuted in this Malayali film in India. And it's like, guys, I know he's a YouTuber and he's a comedian, but this guy, by the way, has a company. I'm pretty sure he has a company, an agency, and he went to Stanford. Yeah. He went to Stanford. So these people who are doing these great things, like, you guys need to connect the dots here. Being a dropout does not necessarily mean that you're going to reach where you are, but there are a lot of successful examples. Like, I think with the Podio founder, I don't think he went to university. Pretty sure he dropped out, but yeah.
But again, he created a product that actually disrupted the market. He created a podcast platform, a distribution platform for Arabic media mainly. Because Arabic podcasts didn't have a much bigger reach. They were not big on YouTube. Now they are. Now, obviously, the market has matured. There's Arabic listeners who understand podcasts, the idea of podcasts. But at that point, when he did, he actually disrupted the market. So you have to understand all of these things. If your idea is revolutionary and it has the ability to disrupt the market, I would say just start it before you're 15 even, no problem. But again, it should disrupt the market, and the best people to ask is your friends, family, your best friends who will say no to your face, like, oh, this is a stupid idea. Ask 1,000 people. Do market research before even making the MVP.
No, I don't think you need to ask people.
Yeah, you need to. See,
a lot of negative Nellies exist.
Even with Mark Zuckerberg, the story is very simple. It wasn't his idea. It was two brothers who are now billionaires also. They came to him and they wanted them to build a Facebook-like platform. They wanted Zuckerberg's expertise because he created a very weird app. So that's the idea. He literally stole an idea. He didn't stop replying to them, and he built Facebook and put it online. So you need ideas. You need to talk to people. You need to be in Harvard to listen to other great ideas, right?
Oh, you know, I saw
need
this,
to be in an environment where these conversations
thing
happen.
Somewhere, Majid, where basically it said that the reason why you should go to university, it's not to necessarily just have that degree, that trophy that you can defend yourself with, but you go to university so that you can make that network, and that you will often meet those high, those ultra high net worth individuals in universities, in like Harvard and Ivy Leagues like that. That's where you'll meet those individuals who might give you that funding you need, who might become your investment partner. But
let's move on to the next story. We'll discuss this in detail.
One of the best investors to ever exist, really. Mubadala CEO Khaldoon Khalifa Al-Mubarak has made a bold statement on the global stage, saying the UAE is investing in every piece of AI. So speaking at the first ever Pennsylvania Energy and Innovation Summit, Al-Mubarak outlined the country's wide-reaching technology investment strategy and its long-term vision for artificial intelligence.
And reflecting on the UAE's journey, he told a very nice story. He said that the country learned resilience early. So he said pearl diving was our main industry, he recalled. Then came the Japanese artificial pearl, and that wiped us out. So he's saying tech literally took one industry that they had away from them. And from that moment, he said the UAE's new vision was shaped, and they wanted to diversify their economy. Over the last 10 years, we focused intensely on technology. That's what he said.
And basically, Mubadala now has over 40% of its portfolio invested in the United States. So he went on to say we're one of the largest foreign investors in this country. And he also highlighted their recent deals like PCI Pharma and long-standing partnerships with companies like Nova Chemicals. And, basically for him, this was like, we're not new here. We've been around for a while. We've been working with the US for a while.
They just started hearing about them recently. Otherwise, they were doing great in US. Also, Khaldoon and Mubarak emphasized that Mubadala isn't just investing in AI, it's using it also. So he said AI agents now sit on board meetings, even observing and questioning decisions at Mubadala's investment committee. An in-house AI co-pilot challenges assumptions and sharpens the strategy for them.
So the UAE strategy also includes global academic partnerships like the Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence, whose president was recruited from Carnegie Mellon. And Mubarak concluded, we have energy, we have capital, and we have human capital. And that's our edge. And we're using it. But I think for me, what stood out the most about his speech is the fact that, the narrative is now that all of these Gulf countries, they are so reliant on oil. Oil is all they have, but there was a time where that was not the case.
Yeah.
The case for them is that it was all about pearl diving. Their main industry was pearls. And in fact, they diversified to oil from pearls, and now we're seeing them make the move again.
Yeah.
And I think that this is such a it's to me it's so historic because of the fact that this is a culture that's so rich in history, and they've actually managed to pivot every single time the economy and the demand has changed.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the Carnegie Mellon story, they were at the university, the event was at the university, and they had a quite laugh about it because the head, the director or the dean of the university was sitting there. And when he mentioned that, we took our director from this university, he was like, yeah, you stole him. And he was like, no, we didn't steal him. We had a good partnership where you said that, yeah, we can take him. He's actually a fellow at Carnegie Mellon. What was the name? Mellon. So he will go back after completing his tenure of 10 to 15 years at MBZ UAI. So they actually came up with a partnership where they took their head of AI and brought him here. Now he's like setting up the whole thing. So it's a very nice university, MBZ UAI. It's one of the, I think, one of the only universities which has like a whole AI path for you till PhD. A lot of universities now have it, but MBZ UAI, when it started like 4, 5, 6 years ago, they were the first ones to do this. So UAE is everything. Their new divestment strategy is going to AI, and very nicely said. Every part of AI, be it data centers, be it softwares, be it anything, they've invested in literally everything, every single step of the way where AI is like, if you have 4 building blocks, they've invested in all 4 building blocks. So very nice speech. If you want to listen to it, just Google Khaldoon al-Mubarak and the Energy and Innovation Summit. You'll find his speech. It's like a 9-minute talk. Very nice, very informative speech by him. Next up, we have another place where Khaldoon al-Mubarak is also present. But mainly Manchester City, which is owned by Abu Dhabi City Football Group, has signed a landmark £1 billion kit sponsorship deal with Puma. It's a sports story, but it has a very big lesson in business. This agreement is the largest in the Premier League history, the English Premier League history. And funny story is that before Man City, the largest deal was Manchester United, 2 arch rivals, city rivals. And spanning over 10 years, it reflects the club's growing brand value.
So essentially, this deal highlights the financial strength and strategic vision behind Abu Dhabi's 2008 acquisition of Manchester City. Yes, they have been owning the club for that long. So the club is now responsible for over 75% of City Football's group record, which is 933 pounds, which is in million revenue. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, despite City Football Group. The City Football Group as a whole remains loss-making, which a lot of big groups do. They actually reinvest the money that they earn, so somehow they're always in loss. Manchester City itself posted a pre-tax profit of £73.8 million in the last season, 23 to 24 season. It showcases their sustained commercial success, and it's all because City is backed by City Football Group.
So as the club prepares to kick off the 2025-26 Premier League season on August 16th, the new Puma deal provides financial stability and renewed ambition, even following a trophyless season.
Yeah, they didn't win anything last year, and they lost to Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia in the recent Club World Cup. So they're not doing good, but it shows that they've done so good in the past 4 or 5 years under Pep Guardiola and under Abu Dhabi City Football Group that people actually want to stay with them, and Puma wants to stay with them. And it's a £1 billion deal, £100 million every year, and it's a 10-year long deal. So you'll see Puma, the symbol on their shirt. We did a social media post on it where we added the history of since what they've done since they've taken over. It's a very nice story in terms of, I remember I was a very big football fan and I was a Manchester United fan at that point, the Reds, not the Blues. But I specifically remember that whenever we talked about Manchester City, we always used to talk about them as minnows, as someone lesser than Manchester United. And in the last 10 years, since City Football's takeover, as soon as they paid like £250 million for the club, they became the richest club because they paid so much money. And they did take a lot of money back in terms of revenue. They've earned a lot. I remember Haaland's shirts. We were talking, she was looking at a video of PSG and Qatar. Haaland's shirt, the very first day, they were all sold
5
out.
million euros. 5 million euros. That's what Nasser, PSG's chairman, said, that they made 5 million euros after their win in just one day. But imagine, like, just on, the topic of Puma and T-shirts and this deal, I think that it's so easy to underestimate how important these, like, this merch and, this...
It's a very big part.
Merch is so important to these football fans. Like, it is like a token of love for them. Every single time I have seen a video, a picture of like, of a football fan meeting their favorite player, the first thing they do is they take the shirt and they get the footballer to sign it. It is so important to them. Like, I was, what's it called? I just opened my dad's closet, Majid, and my dad is like a big Real Madrid fan, a very big Real Madrid fan. And the amount of merch that I found in that closet, I was very shook. I was like, I went through all of them, and it's like, and Majid, they were like the most premium versions, and he just has them there, and I'm like, wow, I see what's going on here. But anyways, my point is that it's like, this is so important to people, and they're betting on that, and they know that.
I'll give you one more reason to love Puma. I just realized when we were talking about it, because I did the story yesterday, I completely forgot this point. But we did a story on Smashi Business that Puma discontinued their sponsorship of the Israel Football Association last year because they saw so much pressure. So they were actually the sponsors of the Israel Football Association, but obviously the BDS movement, the boycott divestment movement, they basically put a lot of pressure on them, and Puma has discontinued their sponsorship by the end of last year. So December 31st, 2024, they finished the partnership with Israel Football Association. So yeah, you have reasons to love the City Football Group, Abu Dhabi back. They made such a big giant club, and also you can love Puma now because they've given up on the Israel Football Association. You know why. Don't need to lay it out for you, but yeah, good reason to buy Puma now. And let's go on to the next story, which is about the global hit TV show Shark Tank. We have the Dubai version, we have the US version, we have so many versions, but now it's officially coming to Lebanon, offering local entrepreneurs an unprecedented chance to pitch their business ideas to a panel of investors and potentially secure game-changing deals.
So for the first time, Lebanese founders, inventors, and side hustlers can step into the iconic Shark Tank spotlight to showcase their startups and their innovations with the goal of actually turning their visions into reality.
And while the identities of the investors have not yet been revealed, it is confirmed the panel will consist of Lebanese business people and investors, ensuring local expertise and insight.
So Shark Tank has helped launch over 1,000 businesses worldwide, and Lebanese connections actually run deep with investors like Kevin O'Leary, who's on Shark Tank USA, who actually has Lebanese heritage. So apparently his mother is Lebanese. I never knew that. And by the way, he also has the UAE citizenship. So, and there are actually several Lebanese entrepreneurs who have already secured deals across the Shark Tanks that already already exist. I think for me, Majid, this is so exciting because there are so many Lebanese founders, a part of our ecosystem who are doing a great job. For example, the Chalhoub group, they're doing a great job. Also, you know, the family. You know,
Lebanese founder.
And you know the family that is, they have the franchise for Zara here.
Oh yeah, the
Azadia Group. Yes,
yeah.
Azadia Group is run by a Lebanese family. Chalhoub is actually Syrian.
Oh, yeah.
Let me correct that there.
But you have so many Lebanese startups, because whenever you have an environment like Lebanon, which has clashes, which has problems, which is going through such a bad time, people always come up with short solutions, small solutions, very niche solutions.
Yeah.
And I'll to be honest, I've seen just clips of Shark Tank Dubai. I usually don't watch it. We discussed it that it's in Arabic, so it takes the flavor away from me.
Majid, do you remember that clip? I feel like we really need to discuss this. The clip with Chef Noel. Chef Noel is the chef that created the Dubai viral chocolate and apparently has been a part of some of the most viral recipes in the Middle East, in the UAE. Did you see that deal? Did he honestly accept that? Basically,
no, he didn't accept it. Then
he didn't
later
accept
he
it.
came to the Love in Dubai show and clarified.
Okay, I see. But basically, on Shark Tank Dubai, all the judges gave him a deal to basically take his like Dubai viral chocolate company for like 52%.
51.
Oh, 51%.
They wanted a majority stake, so they didn't say 50. They were like 51.
And it's like, I'm so sorry, but that is crazy. And the way they kind of just like roped him into it, it was the most aggressive.
I will also come in.
Right?
I will also come in.
It was the most aggressive takeover ever. It was like we love your product and we're complimenting it and we want it and we're so obsessed. And it's like, honestly, I felt like that was manipulation. I really did. And the way he agreed to it so quickly, you never give away more.
Being a shark, right? Your name is Shark.
That makes sense, but imagine you never give away more than 50% of your company. That means you do not become the majority decision holder anymore.
What he did was, I remember on the Love in Dubai show, then he came here and he sat here, right here. And he said that he renegotiated the deal. I think he gave them 20% then. Whereas then he said a very nice word. We did a cut of that interview.
I'm the catch or something. I'm the main character. I was like, okay, girl, you do your thing.
It's good. You need that kind of attitude from a founder who's already proved himself. Right? If Cristiano Ronaldo today comes and says, "Oh no, I'm just a footballer. I'm just a small," you won't like him.
It's a syndrome. What's it called? I forgot. It's a syndrome where you
that's
just doubt
different.
yourself.
That's like you don't play yourself big because. I will remember it, but so you won't like a founder.
Imposter syndrome.
He said I went through it. That is why he was like, I somehow gave off 51%, but then I was like, no. So he came back, he retracted, gave 20%, and got 2 million dirhams, I think. So that's nice. Nice stories coming out. But I think we would love to cover Shark Tank Lebanon. It will be in Arabic. I won't mind because Word is doing great with translations of the Arabic videos. So she'll take over. But I think it's going to be very, very good for their economy. Startups getting money.
I think for the first time we'll see the actual founders eating the sharks.
Yeah.
I think that's what we'll see this time. But anyways, that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all of our social media channels at Smashi Business and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
This has been a Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to our 1.8 million monthly listeners. Please push us to 2 million. We'll celebrate. I think I'll order a cake again. But thank you so much for being there. Every one of you matters to us. A lot of people commented. You sent hearts and emojis and all that stuff. Whatever you want to say, you can say in our comment section and we'll read it out and we'll reply to that. So we would love feedback on Instagram, on TikTok, wherever you're watching. We would love it. So have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.